Congressman Keith Self joining us this morning to weigh in. Good morning, Congressman. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
So another shutdown, this time over DHS, is looming tonight. Even though it's not going to stop immigration enforcement, that's going to be funded. ICE is funded through the big, beautiful bill. The voting against the funding, the voting or the shutdown really votes against funding for FEMA and Coast Guard and TSA. So looking into your crystal ball, how long do you think this is going to last?
First of all, the House did their job. This is a Senate Democrat shutdown. Secondly, to your question, how long it will last, we're on 48-hour recall in the House. So as soon as the Senate gets their act together and they vote to fund, as you said, Coast Guard, FEMA, TSA, then we will be back to vote on it. I think at the earliest, late next week. That's the earliest. But I think it could take longer than that, because this is a political issue for the Senate Democrats. That's all it is. So they are going to drag this out, make these unreasonable, egregious demands. So I can't really tell you, at the earliest, late next week.
So I'm curious if you see any compromise at all. The Democrats, they're not going to support any other short-term Homeland Security extension unless there are changes. They want changes. One of them, no masks. Are there any provisions you see Democrats, caving on? Do you see the GOP compromising at all? Any compromise here at all?
First of all, I think the body cameras is a good one because they're using it as a political tool. But frankly, body cameras protect police in the vast majority of the incidences. So I think body cameras is one thing that we could agree on. But no masks. Look at the doxing of the agents. The agents have already been doxxed. They've gotten death threats. You're putting DHS agents' lives on the line if you take the masks off, because in the modern world, with everybody has a camera, their lives are going to be in danger while they are enforcing federal law.
Yeah, if you're asking for, if you're anti-mask, you're really anti-law enforcement safety. It's just we've seen what's played out. And that is an area that just cannot be, no compromise.
Absolutely. And frankly, the long list of 10 demands that the Democrats made, the vast majority of them are simply political talking points. There is no compromise possible. The body cameras, I say we might be able to reach an accommodation.
I want to ask you about this. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman said yesterday at the Senate Homeland Security Committee hearing that shutting down DHS undermines national security. Listen to this.
You're going to punish all of these other parts, the very important parts of our government, TSA, Coast Guard, FEMA, and cybersecurity. That's what kind of a statement if we announce to our enemies, like, well, our cybersecurity agency, now we're going to be shut down. If I really want to make a move, that probably makes it better than them. And then, so is that a accurate statement?
It's a fair assessment, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, Congressman, that's alarming, and this is a Democrat saying it.
It is alarming, and I think that, first of all, if we go back to the history of DHS anyway, it was cobbled together 22 organizations, many of whom have no relationship to each other in the aftermath of 9/11. We probably ought to deconstruct DHS a little bit, move them into areas that make more sense, relationships, but at the moment, that's what we have in place, and we have got to continue to defend our nation, and DHS is one of the primary places that we are able to do that. So, yes, I agree with this Democrat senator.
And get ready for potential delays if you're traveling through the nation's airports as well. Congressman, you're part of the House Election Integrity Caucus as well. As you know, the House passed the SAVE Act. It ensures that voter ID would be required in federal elections. Your thoughts on this legislation as it moves forward? Do you think that the Senate will be able to get together on this and get it to the president's desk?
That's a great question. The SAVE Act, we passed twice. The Save America Act, which adds voter ID, was passed this week. So, yes, we need to get this across the line. This is absolutely vital to election integrity. There should be no question that U.S. citizens with voter ID should be the people that are deciding our elections. And look, there are studies that show that illegals have actually made the difference in votes in the past. That should not be. So I think the Senate has got to take it up. I think the Senate probably is going to have to go at least to the talking filibuster, a la Mr. Smith goes to Washington, stand up and talk as long as you can, or actually nuke the filibuster, the cloture vote, so that a simple majority in the Senate could pass this very important bill. We need to put as much pressure on the Senate as possible. This is a do or die moment for election integrity.
John Thune been pushing back on that, nuking the filibuster. We'll see what happens there. Congressman, before I let you go, you've been a strong advocate. It was a celebration at the Cape in Florida this morning, but you've been a big backer of America's leadership, really pushing space exploration. This morning we saw this launch, this beautiful, successful launch of NASA's SpaceX Crew 12 mission. It's sending astronauts to the International Space Station. Talk about these missions, their significance, and as we look ahead to Artemis 2, it really lays a lot of groundwork here, does it not?
That's exactly what it does. It lays groundwork for moving permanent infrastructure to the moon. We're not going to just put a pair of boots on the moon next time. What we are moving to is moving infrastructure to the moon, permanent infrastructure, where astronauts can live and work, gather, even mine perhaps. But this is vitally important. China is racing us to the moon. This is one of the key elements in our confrontation with China. We must get to the moon first with permanent infrastructure so that we can claim our part of the moon. Vitally important.
Congressman Keith Self from the great state of Texas, sir. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.